Johannes Gutenberg, a name synonymous with the printing revolution, transformed the world with his invention of the movable type printing press. This breakthrough enhanced communication, education, and the spread of knowledge, laying the foundation for the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the scientific revolution that would follow. Yet, his life was filled with both triumphs and hardships, making his story as remarkable as his invention. Johannes Gutenberg was born around 1400 in Mainz, a city within the Holy Roman Empire, now part of modern-day Germany. His exact birth date is unknown, but he was born into a wealthy family of patricians, high-status citizens who had a considerable influence in local society. His father worked as a merchant and a goldsmith for the local mint, and his mother belonged to a family of tradespeople. Johannes later adopted the surname Gutenberg from his mother's family, a common practice at the time. Growing up, Gutenberg was exposed to the thriving world of commerce and craft in Mainz. He likely learned the art of metalworking and goldsmithing from his father, which would later play a crucial role in his invention of the printing press. While not much is known about his early education, it is believed that he may have studied at the University of Erfurt, a center of learning in medieval Germany. His background in metallurgy and trade gave him a strong foundation in the skills necessary to shape the future of printing. In the early 15th century, there was a time when books were laboriously copied by hand, a slow and expensive process. Monks and scribes in monasteries would spend months or even years copying religious texts, creating books that only the wealthy or the church could afford. Gutenberg saw an opportunity to change this, to make books more accessible, and he began to experiment with a new way to reproduce text quickly and accurately. By the 1430s, political turmoil in Mainz forced Gutenberg to move to Strasbourg, a city where he spent several years working on his early ideas for a printing press. During this time, he refined his skills in metal casting and design, developing the concept of movable type, individual letters and characters that can be arranged and rearranged to form words and sentences. But unlike traditional woodblock printing, which required a new block for each page, movable type allowed for reusable letters, significantly speeding up the printing process. Gutenberg's key innovation was the creation of a special alloy of lead, tin, and antimony that could be melted and cast into durable type. He also developed an oil-based ink that adhered better to metal type and paper, as well as a modified wine press that served as the mechanical basis for his printing press. By the early 1450s, Gutenberg had returned to Mainz with his ideas and began to set up a printing workshop. In 1452, Gutenberg secured a loan from Johann Fust, a wealthy financier, to fund his printing workshop. This partnership provided the financial backing necessary to build his press and produce the first large-scale printed book. With Fust's investment, Gutenberg began work on what would become his masterpiece, the Gutenberg Bible. The Gutenberg Bible, also known as the 42-line Bible due to the number of lines on each page, was completed around 1455. This monumental work consisted of 1,282 pages, each page meticulously printed using movable type. The Bible was printed in Latin and featured beautiful Gothic scripts, with each page carefully crafted to resemble the manuscripts that were traditionally copied by hand. Gutenberg's attention to detail and craftsmanship ensured that the printed pages were of high quality, rivaling the hand-copied versions that had come before. The Gutenberg Bible was a groundbreaking achievement, with around 180 copies produced, both on paper and on vellum, a more durable parchment. It was the first major book printed using movable type in Europe, and its production marked the beginning of a new era in the dissemination of knowledge. The Bible's relative affordability, compared to hand-copied versions, made it more accessible, and it quickly became a prized possession among scholars and clergy. Despite the success of the Gutenberg Bible, Gutenberg faced significant financial challenges. His partnership with Johann Fust, which had enabled him to produce the Bible, ultimately led to his downfall. Fust sued Gutenberg in 1455, claiming that the money he had lent was not being repaid and that the profits from the Bible were not being shared. The court sided with Fust, and Gutenberg was forced to relinquish his printing workshop and the rights to the Gutenberg Bible. Fust, along with Peter Chaffeur, Gutenberg's former assistant, took over the workshop and continued printing with the movable type technology that Gutenberg had pioneered. Meanwhile, Gutenberg found himself in a difficult financial position, struggling to maintain his livelihood. However, he continued to work in the field of printing, setting up a smaller workshop in Mainz, where he printed various documents and smaller religious texts. Despite the setbacks, Gutenberg's reputation as a master printer spread throughout Europe. In 1465, he received recognition from the Archbishop of Mainz back then, Adolphe von Nassau, who granted him a pension and an honorary title for his contributions to the city. This recognition provided him with some comfort in his later years, though he never regained the wealth and influence he once held. Johannes died on February 3, 1468, in Mainz. He was buried in the Franciscan church in Mainz, but the church was later destroyed, and the exact location of his grave remains unknown. While his life ended in relative obscurity, the impact of his invention lived on, shaping the future in ways he likely never imagined. Gutenberg's invention of the movable type printing press is often regarded as one of the most important technological advances in human history. It revolutionized the way information was shared, books were made, and also made written works more accessible to the general public. The printing press fueled the spread of ideas, enabling the Renaissance to flourish as artists, scientists, and thinkers, all because they could share their works with a wider audience. It also played a crucial role in the Protestant Reformation, as reformers like Martin Luther used the press to spread their ideas quickly and efficiently. Beyond religious and scholarly circles, the printing press transformed European society, paving the way for a more literate and educated populace. Books, pamphlets, and newspapers became central to public life, shaping political movements and scientific progress. By the time of Gutenberg's death, the printing press had already spread across Europe, with printing houses appearing in Italy, France, England, and beyond. Today, Johannes Gutenberg is often hailed as the father of printing. His legacy is celebrated through institutions such as the Gutenberg Museum in Mainz, which showcases the history of printing and preserves some of the original pages from the Gutenberg Bible. His name has become synonymous with the transformative power of technology and innovation, representing the shift from a world of limited access to knowledge of which information could reach millions. Gutenberg's story is a reminder of the power of a single idea to change the course of history. Despite facing financial struggles and personal setbacks, he persisted in his vision of making printed books accessible to all. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more, and also don't forget to hit the like button.